What up, nerds, and welcome to another trashy episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 534, recorded Monday, June 30th, 2025. Tonight, we're talking about the winner of the July poll, which was Return of the Living Dead from 1985. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show tonight. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy, Rand Diesel. What's up?
What's up, baby? Man, I am mustering some strength right now. I am so fucking tired.
Rand Diesel, it's party time. You're supposed to be crushing Coors Light on your forehead.
Oh, my God. I got a wizard staff a mile high from my fucking tall boys, buddy.
Dang.
That's the one.
That's a new one for your boy Bob. Next up, calling in from Seoul, South Korea, we got Shaboy Soju. What's up, man?
Oh, what up? It's your boy, Living Dead Stains. What up? I'm here to party.
It's party time, so that's good. That's great. That's
it's
wonderful.
8 a.m. and I'm here to party.
Hell yeah, dude.
I'm here to play. I'm here to party.
Hell yeah.
Here to do it all.
It's like something that came out of a nightmare movie.
So this was my takeover poll. The theme was 1985, and I chose 3 zombie movies. This one won, and also like all 3 movies that I chose we had already reviewed before. So this was an option: Day of the Dead and Reanimator, and we reviewed all those movies like in our first 60 or 70 shows, like, you know, literally a decade ago, and those aren't on any of the streaming services. You can only listen to those on our website. So like nobody's ever really heard them. So for all intents and purposes, we've almost like never really reviewed them. But if you want to hear them, you can go search the archives on the website. And I went back and listened to this episode, which was episode number 45, the first time we recorded this. And it was the first time watch for all of us, which is kind of wild.
Oh, that is pretty wild. Because now
Wait, for me?
Yeah, it was your pick, and having listened back, you were going to pick something else that was on a streaming platform, and like our Wi-Fi went down, and you were like, well, I bought this like 10 years ago. Let's put this on and review it.
Dude, yeah, that's what it was. I had owned this for fucking ever and just never actually sat down and watched the damn thing.
Damn.
That's right.
Oh, what a lucky night.
It was wild. Yeah, man. It was the 3 of us and Drew were on that episode.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was 2015. I couldn't pin down the exact date, but it was fall of 2015 because we were talking about how the weather had just turned and like Halloween was finally coming around the corner. So,
wow,
you know, early fall probably.
Blast from the past, eh, Bob?
Man. It was more wild to listen to. Yeah.
I'm not prepared to visit that far in my past. Let's not.
10 years ago.
Let's give it another 10 years,
like
and then we'll be doing
and then I
commentary on our own podcast. We'll be talking
review our reviews.
We'll react to our podcast.
I need a complete shedding of the cells I had at that time.
I am a new person. How long does it take? Doesn't it only take like 7 years to shed your ass?
It's double for me, baby. I don't know.
It's a lot of ass to shed.
I got a lot of cells, baby. You know?
Hell yeah.
They're all on my ass.
God damn. So we're sort of re-reviewing this movie, and it's going to drop on July 2nd, which is just one day before Return of the Living Dead Day, June 3rd. Everybody mark your calendar.
July 3rd.
July 3rd.
June 3rd is Shaboy's birthday. So.
Return of Randy Day, June 3rd.
That's right. Randy's ready.
That's what the kids say. Before we get into it, let's tackle just a little bit of housekeeping on our end. So it's a new month. That means we got a brand new poll currently posted over on our Patreon website. If you guys support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this August. The theme for August is deep cuts. So we got 3 movies that are sort of underseen or at least under-discussed. Those movies are Kill List, The Empty Man, and Orca.
Right. Bob, how are those numbers looking?
They're non-existent because it's still June 30th. So,
man. I know you boys are living in the past, but here in Korea, we're in the future, baby. It's July 1st.
Damn. Oh my God!
You guys are always traveling into the future. So get those votes in. You got an entire month before we see what we're talking about this August. In other Patreon news, we're dropping mini casts every other Friday. We just dropped one on dangerous animals last Friday. You can check that out. Next up, dropping on the 4th, July 4th. It's that new Predator movie. Was it Killer of Killers, the animated anthology? Juice, this is one of yours.
Yeah, new Predator movie. It is animated anthology. It's 3 tales about predators fighting people from the past. There's a Viking, samurai, and I can't remember the third
Straight
one,
Chillin' Crew from 2015.
And the Straight Chillin' Crew. We fought a predator, a sexual predator, and we won.
Jesus Christ.
And we won, baby.
And we shedded our asses.
Yeah. But yeah, check that out this upcoming Friday, July 4th, boys. And the last week before spooky season kicks off. Am I right? Here we go, boys. We got just a couple more days.
Yeah. July 3rd, 4th, and 5th. That's a big 3 days. Return of the Living Dead Day, Jaws Day, official kickoff of spooky season. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, yeah.
And my colonoscopy.
Randy. Gotta shed that ass.
I know, you flirt. Get in there, Doc. I'm not paying you to chit-chat.
Look, we got business to attend to.
Don't get cheap on me. So check that out over on Patreon. In other Patreon news, we got a brand new Patreon supporter. We got to give mad shouts outs to a big, gigantic thank you to Nouse for shining up on the Patreon and showing us some love. As is tradition around these here parts, we owe you the straight chilling salute. This one goes out to Nouse.
Throwback over there.
Damn. Whoa.
We're reanimating today.
Yeah, I know. Throwback.
Maybe Knaus. I'm not sure how you say that, so apologies if I said it wrong. But thanks.
Man.
Yeah. In this house. Also, at the time of you listening to this show, we will have already reopened the You Picked the Flick tier. We don't know who won that at the time of this recording, but congratulations to the 6 lucky winners of the final You Picked the Flick of the year. Way to go, y'all.
I know you pick some good flicks.
They
Please.
won't. They weren't interested.
Please.
They're just not going to do
it. For God's sake.
For the love of God.
Man, the first half of this year was rough.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think the key to getting good picks is to always be complaining about the old picks.
Yes,
that's sure.
You got to challenge people.
Give us results.
You know, you got to give them a goal.
That's really been paying off here lately.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Every time we've complained about one, we've definitely reaped dividends.
Got to get yourself right with God, folks. That's all the news that I have. Do you guys have anything you want to plug?
Not currently. I think
I'm clean today.
It's a clean house.
Squeaky.
This house is clean.
All right. Let's get into the main event. We're talking about Return of the Living Dead, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Bob, you have many of these boxes, as I saw at the beginning of this show. Which one's your favorite box?
Well, I think I kind of like... So I've got 3 versions of this, all from Scream Factory, and they put out a 4th one recently, which is insane. They put out a Blu-ray of this a few years ago.
I'm glad you agree.
I can't believe my money's going to go to them again.
I did not buy the 4th one because the only difference is the artwork. So they put out a
strain, Bob. Whoa.
Please don't start.
I've already started. They put out a Blu-ray a few years ago. It's like a 2-disc collector's edition. Then they put this out on 4K last year, maybe 2 years ago. 2 years ago, yeah. Which was a 3-disc and had like even more bonus features, and it's got the original artwork on it, which is pretty cool. The Blu-ray had like a original or commissioned art rather, which is also kind of nice. Tarman, and then they had this 4K Steelbook come out last year, which is kind of hard to see on the computer, but it looks cool. And then there's just another Steelbook they put out this year for some reason with no new features or anything like that. So it's out there if you want it.
There's a couple of movies, these and like the fucking Halloween franchise or whatever, they're going to outlive the cockroaches, dude, because there's just so many goddamn editions in steel across the world.
Steel books. Yeah, Scream Factory is really going back to the well more and more over the past few years. They just announced today another Halloween and Halloween 2 release. I believe it's their 5th of those movies, and they just keep... There's nothing new you can add. Like, if it's that's all illegal, out there.
Right? Yeah, it's a felony.
It's a felony.
Yes.
Wow.
It's all out there.
Have you watched all those bonus features, Bob? Return of the Living Dead bonus features.
So they're not all of them. No, there's 4 on the 4K release. Anyways, there's 4 commentaries. There's a feature-length documentary which I did watch. There's a bunch of interviews. They go back to all the original locations and show you what they look like now. And there's like hours and hours of stuff.
They're just going to start adding our podcast episodes on the films to these new 4K.
They're not going to mind.
And here's the straight chilling crew talking about it.
Might as well. There's nothing else to add. It's crazy. But yeah, you can rent this. You can buy this. This is very accessible.
Oh
Check it out. This came out in 1985, so we're celebrating the 40th anniversary of Return of the Living Dead.
That was planned.
It was. Mm-hmm. This is rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 31 minutes. This was directed by Dan O'Bannon. This was written by John A. Russo, really based on a book that he turned into a screenplay. And then Dan O'Bannon sort of took that screenplay and said, this is way too similar to Night of the Living Dead, and then changed the ever-living fuck out of it. Also, Rudy Ricci and Russell Streiner had some writing credits on there, starring Clu Gulager, James Karen, Don Calfa, Tom Matthews, Beverly Randolph, Linnea Quigley, Brian Peck, some other lovely folks. Plot synopsis brought to you by IMDb is as follows. When 2 bumbling employees at a medical supply warehouse accidentally release a deadly gas into the air, the vapors cause the dead to rise again as zombies.
Typical army fuck up.
Gentlemangs, kind of spoiled that we've all already seen this before, but would you recommend folks at home check it out? Rand Diesel, kick us off.
Yeah, without question. Don't sit on it like I did for so fucking long, waiting for the perfect moment. There's no better moment than this moment right fucking now, especially if this is coming out the day before. What is it? 2 days or 1 day before the 4th?
1 day.
One day.
One day before the 3rd. Yeah.
1 day before the 3rd. Okay. Yeah. So you're right on time. You're in the money zone. Watch this fucking movie. It's well worth your time. You'll have a reasonably good time, I'm sure.
Hell yeah. Juice, what about you?
Yeah, I absolutely would recommend you check this out. It's funny that like I always kind of forget it's supposed to be like a summer kind of movie. You know, it says at the very beginning, July 3rd, but because it's got spooky vibes to me too, you know. But yeah, so really there's any time is a good time to watch this movie, I guess is what I'm trying to say. This is top tier horror right here. It's just a really, really good time. Bob, would you recommend people check this out? Which version? Which one of the steals?
Rob, why do you not recommend this movie? What's your problem?
I actually hate this movie.
That's why I just see it. So
I just keep buying it. They keep forcing me to buy it. I hate this movie.
If I find out more, maybe I'll eventually change my mind.
That's what I'm hoping for. One of these bonus features is going to change my mind.
Going to change my life.
I finally get it now. This is
Thanks for explaining it to me straight, chillin'.
Thanks. I've been thanking our own podcast that's on a future release. This is we watched this for the first time a decade ago. I've seen it at least a dozen times since. This is the very first movie that we ever hosted a screening of over at Sunray in 2018 as well. Mm-hmm. So there's like other, it's a great movie, but also just sort of like some fun like nostalgia coming along with it, talking about it on the show and stuff. But yeah, absolutely watch it. Watch the shit out of this. It is a I'd try to watch it every July 3rd if I can. So, perfect time to throw it on. It is just sort of fun as hell, and we'll get into all the reasons why that is. We're going to be spoiling the shit out of this movie though, and here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
Bob,
Oh, hey.
got that plot synopsis?
I do. This is the first not medium to loose recommend, and it feels like a minute, but
Well,
Whoa. Let's not count the
seriously
horses
or not?
before they're
because
out.
we did Ready or Not too long ago.
that's true. Yeah, that was within the past month.
And also the new one from the Philippines. You're wrong.
Oh,
Bob.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
just
yeah.
wrong. You're just straight up
Bring
wrong.
Her Back shots, the new Philippou brothers movie.
You're just really wrong.
Okay,
Bob.
Just
well,
ripped that straight off from the librarian.
I did.
Anyway,
Shouts outs to friend of the show, Librarian. That was definitely hers. So yeah, here is the plot synopsis for Return of the Living Dead. On July 3rd, 1984, at You Need a Medical Supply in Louisville, Kentucky, Foreman Frank tries to impress a new hire, Freddy, by showing him military-grade drums full of toxic trioxin gas. Frank hits the side of one of the drums to prove it's secure and accidentally releases the gas into the air, which reanimates several things in the warehouse, including a cadaver hanging in a meat locker. Their boss, Bert, arrives on the scene, and the three try to kill the reanimated corpse, only to find out each part of the zombie can survive independently. Bert asks a nearby mortician and longtime friend Ernie to incinerate the body for him. He does, and the toxic smoke fills the air and leads to a toxic rainfall that reanimates more corpses in a nearby cemetery. Meanwhile, Freddy's girlfriend Tina and her friends Suicide, Spider, Trash, Chuck, Casey, and Scuzz kill some time in the cemetery while they're waiting for Freddy to get off work. Trash dances naked on a gravestone. While Tina enters the basement of the medical supply looking for Freddy, she encounters the melted corpse that was contained in one of the trioxin barrels, commonly referred to as Tarman, and he tries to eat her brains. The rest of the gang arrive and save her, but Suicide is killed. Casey says she thinks she saw Freddy entering the mortuary, so they all go try to find him.
Suicide was murdered.
Yeah, what a sentence. They are attacked by corpses in the cemetery, and Trash is killed. Chuck and Casey are chased back over to the warehouse, but Spider, Tina, and Scuzz end up making it to the mortuary. Franklin and Freddy are sick from their exposure to the trioxin gas. They call paramedics, who say based on their vital signs, the men are technically dead. Trash's corpse is submerged in toxic mud and comes back to life. Bert and Ernie barricade the mortuary. Scuzz is killed, and the cops and paramedics who arrive are all eaten by zombies. The squad strap the torso of a corpse down to a table, and she says the zombies can feel themselves rotting, and the only thing that helps is eating human brains. Bert locks Freddy and Frank in the chapel as they begin to change. Tina refuses to leave Freddy, and he tries to eat her. Ernie rescues her by throwing acid in Freddy's eyes, blinding him. And Frank, still having awareness, ends up burning himself in the incinerator before he can fully turn. Ernie and Tina hide in the mortuary attic while a blinded Freddy tries to find them. Bert and Spider make it back over to the warehouse in a cop car where they find Casey and Chuck. Bert finds a phone number on the side. I know, dude. My boy Chuck the Cuck. We'll get to that.
Little Freudian slip there.
They caught me slipping. Bert finds a phone number on the side of one of the trioxin barrels, and he calls it. He tells Colonel Glover that the area has been overrun by zombies, and Glover has the town nuked on the morning of the 4th of July, killing all remaining survivors. Colonel Glover tells command everything went according to plan, and only a small area was destroyed. Unbeknownst to him, the fires caused by the nukes are releasing harmful gas into the air just the way the crematorium did, but now over a larger area. Toxic rain begins to fall once again as corpses are reanimated. Roll them credits.
Typical army fuck up.
Ooh.
There
this
you
movie's
go.
so much fun. I just I have it as like a huge positive in my mind, but I just forget how much fun it is. This is almost like the perfect formula for horror. in my opinion. It's almost like the perfect blend of camp, but there's like some good fun lore going on here. Like I said, it's set in summer, but it's in the cemetery, and you got this kind of like toxic rain and stuff, so it's a little spooky too. And so you could watch it around Halloween easy. And I don't know, man. It's really just kind of perfect. I don't think I'm gonna have any problems today for this film. To be like, just spoiler, whoa.
Preach.
I just
Whoa!
it's so much fun, man. It's such a fun watch. I've seen it, and it's funny that you said we watched it for the first time 10 years ago now, because now I feel like I've seen it like countless times.
Yeah.
I mean, this is on the calendar that you are adherent to with your life.
Oh,
so yeah. I feel like that's part of the reason you've seen it so much.
True.
But yeah, this is like it's perfect in a lot of ways. Like all the stuff you just said is true. But also like it's not it's both it kind of goes by the numbers in some ways, but it also creates creates things as well. Like it creates its own lore. It subverts a little bit. Like it's subversive in more ways than one, both in style and tenor, and also in like just the expected rules of this. Like I guess it might be too early to have called it a subgenre at that point.
I don't think
zombie
so.
Movies, right?
You don't think so? No, I don't think so. Because Romero was pretty well established. He had made his trilogy of zombie movies at this point. Well, the third one.
Yeah, but does that a subgenre in and of itself at that point until it starts getting imitators?
I don't know. Who knows if back in the day when this came out they would say that.
I don't know either.
Think so, but
the genre question is not that interesting. But
yeah, it's not. I did mention John Russo earlier, who wrote a novel. So John Russo originally worked with George Romero and helped him write Night of the Living Dead. And then after the success of that, he was also a novelist, so he wrote a sequel to that movie called Return of the Living Dead, and the book sold well, and then he wrote a screenplay off of it. And I guess it was like really similar in tone to Night of the Living Dead, but he and George sort of had different opinions of like where the franchise should go, so they parted amicably. They I think they did get lawyers involved to like help draw the line as to like who could do what. So like George went on to make his Dead movie franchise, so Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, but he could not use Living Dead in the title anymore. And then Russo took Living Dead. He could make whatever Living Dead stuff he wanted to. And Tobe Hooper was originally going to direct this, but it got delayed a little bit, so he went on to do Life Force. And then that's when they got Dan O'Bannon involved, and he took the screenplay and was like, this is very, very similar to everything that Romero is doing, and he wanted it to be nothing like that at all, so he completely rewrote it. And I think that instinct to just make it wholly his own served this movie so perfectly, because like what you were saying, Randy, is like this sort of does reinvent tropes, and whether or not they were tropes at the time, Dan O'Bannon at least realized that it was very much Romero's kind of vibe, and he didn't want to ape off of it. So then when we first watched this a decade ago, I think we all realized in real time as we were watching it, like, oh, this is where like the zombies eat brains thing comes from. It comes from this movie. Yeah. That really wasn't a thing before. Also, like the zombies being smart and like talking and being able to like manipulate humans and like having to eat brains to like stop the pain, and the toxic trioxin gas being the only way that you can like become a zombie. Like it creates so much.
I am not listening to your roast.
Exactly, said Dan O'Bannon. Direct quote.
I mean, that's the thing is like it's not just that it subverts those what people expect from a zombie movie when this comes out. It's that it subverts and then invents very, very lasting ideas that surround the entire subgenre. Like we were shocked to find out, oh, this is where the brains thing came from. Like it's so well ingrained with the lore of what we recognize as a zombie that it does like it feels like it's always been there, and that it couldn't have, like it had to have been there right from the jump, and it just wasn't. This movie created that in its instinct to subvert that idea of it being, just hungry creatures that just want to kill you. Like it gives a form to that just wasn't there. and it works, it lasts, and it's just like funny. It's like I said, it's subversive in so many ways, and it's like it's also meta contextual. The way that fucking Don Caffa goes over like the Night of the Living Dead franchise at the very fucking beginning of this movie. That's like I don't know a whole lot of movies of this age that go that direct with its meta commentary. It's kind of gutsy, and I love it for that.
When he says like they threatened Romero with a lawsuit, and that's why he changed all the facts. Like that's, I mean, it's a little like inside baseball, but it's pretty funny, you know.
It is.
I think it's really funny, and the blend here, like I was saying, is like super perfect because. And it's wacky too. I think they're taking these swings that could have easily been really bad, and it's kind of like one of those magic moments. Because like this time around, I was like really cracking up at like suicide. It was like really, and him and his interaction between trash, because it's just so random in a way. Like the things that they say are so random, but they're so funny. Like him saying something like the acid rain starts coming down, they all get in his car, and they're like, roll up the windows, man. He's like, I busted them all out. Their characters are just so over the top, and her just taking her clothes off, and everybody's like, Trash is taking her clothes off again. It's just
Wow, she's just booby, sis.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous and doesn't really make any sense, but it's just like spot on perfect to where it all kind of rides just the right way. Because then there's like some really fucked up stuff when they have the corpse pinned to the table, which looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Her talking about, I can feel my body decaying, or that first corpse like bursting out and he's just screaming, and they pin it down with the pickaxe, and it's like through his head. Like that's pretty fucked up.
Still squirming. He's
While also being kind of funny,
Pretty
like
funny.
ridiculous.
Well, that's the thing is like the thing is they're doing really funny bits with really effective prop work and effects. Like that guy, like when they hack through his head or whatever, he's just like screaming with his head pinned down, and then he gets up and he's like the headless torso kind of like flopping around and bumping into shit. And it's like fucking Three Stooges shit, but there's a headless corpse running the show, running the bit. It's very funny. And like the fucking have dogs, like that shit is just so
cool.
Ridiculous. He starts kicking it and it starts going, boom. It starts like,
it's like
whining.
fucked up. It's fucked up, but also really fucking funny because it yelps.
It's really
It's
funny.
Like, yeah, it's like it blends the horror and the comedy so well. Like
just
so
a
few
really
movies
perfect
can.
blend.
Yeah. Frank
I don't know,
freaking
man.
out in that scene. He's like, you gotta hit the head. And Bert's like, I think I fucking hit the head. Like, oh, it's good. It's such a good scene.
So I mean, but that's an element that that goes away from a lot of the modern zombie stuff. You know, you got to destroy the brain, but that's a cool element of this too, is like it doesn't stop. You've got the limbs kind of like scrubbing around even when they have them in the bags, and even the butterflies pinned to, you know, the little display thing, and their wings are flapping. Just little details like that really go a long way here. And it also cracks me up too every time. Dude, it's so fucking funny where the paramedics show up and the fucking zombies swarm their asses, and then the cops show up and the zombies swarm their ass. Like every time, it cracks me up. So
to agree with the man in uniform.
It's so good.
It's very good. I don't know, man. Like this movie also is like, it's not just punk rock in aesthetic. It's also got like kind of an anti-authority like messaging going on, if there is any messaging in this. And then it's certainly like not reverent towards the people in charge. The fucking army commander or whatever that whose wife just like they just hate each other, or like are like largely indifferent to each other or whatever.
I had pork chops for lunch.
I had them for lunch. And she's just like, oh dear. I don't know, man. There's something about that like when I first watched it, I like completely glossed it, didn't think much about it. Every time I've seen it since, I've grown to find that those scenes more funny because it's just so like the most like fucking, I don't know, like emotionless fucking galling pieces of shit ever, just doing their fucking thing and ruining the fucking world in the process. The trilogy of errors that ends with fucking United States Army dispassionate idiot like blowing the fuck out of Louisville and then causing on top of that causing even worse problems. It's just great, man. It just fits so perfectly. Everything in this like slides into place exactly as it should. Honestly, it really doesn't have a whole lot of weak points.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah,
I love the moment when the paramedics are checking them and they become dead because like it's so dark and it's in, everything under the surface is so bleak and dark, but there's so many funny things on top like going on that entertain you. But yeah, them just being fully awake and transitioning to just being dead and then like freaking out. And then the idea too, and they set it up so well of like, he's like, oh, the rigor mortis is setting in. That's so dark to just like, as a way to become a zombie, like that's so fucked up.
It is like the entire like that they actually go through the physical process of death while still like talking about how much it hurts or whatever. It's a really good transition. Like it's better than a lot of like vampire transitions or fucking werewolf transitions that I've seen. It just because you're like fully there experiencing it. It's an interesting way of looking at this shit. It is. It's an interesting like take on that stuff. And not a lot of movies even now in the zombie space that I can think of really follow that method. It's usually like, oh, I got bit and then you die and then you come back. These guys are fully aware of the whole thing happening. Their blood is pooling and like the fucking physics of what happens to the body are gone into in detail. And they experience it firsthand and complain about it and cry about it. And then fucking Don Caffa jumps into a fucking crematorium. It's bleak.
Yeah,
it's very bleak.
He has the conscious like ability to just disintegrate himself.
He takes his ring off and jumps in. Yeah. Ernie even like explains how rigor mortis starts in the head. And I think Freddy is complaining about like a terrible headache at one point, and then he can't move, and it's like everything he says like happens to them in real time, and then he like moves Freddy's arm and you hear it crack and you're like, oh god, it's just it's set up so perfectly and it pays off so well. The zombies are it's rare. I feel like it's rare to watch a movie where like zombies feel as memorable as the characters. Like, Tarman popping out and like saying brains is like just so incredibly memorable in this movie, and the design of that zombie and like how it moves and how it looks. It's just they give it like such detail and such care. And then again with like the torso, like you mentioned, Juice, with like the spinal fluid is like leaking out of it as it's like talking about how it feels itself rotting. Like these things are like so memorable. And then Freddy like is a great character. He's very funny. He's very likable. And then as he turns into a zombie himself, you get like both ends of the spectrum. There's just like such attention to detail when it comes to the zombies as well as the characters. I feel like most of the time zombies are just like a shambling horde, just kind of a mass that none of them really stick out most of the time.
Well, it's the dehumanization that most movies lean into, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like a massive horde of brainless, thoughtless creatures that are just eating machines. They look like your family, but they're not your family. They're not anybody's family. They're just a force of nature. This movie doesn't allow them that. It instead gives them a human motivation, which is the alleviation of pain. I don't know. That's fucking interesting. You just don't see a lot of that sort of thinking in these kind of movies and these kind of zombie movies.
Something that it didn't occur to me until now was the three movies that I had on this poll. They all sort of deal with smart zombies in a way. I mean, like Reanimator's like, when you come back to life and like like the doctor is super, super smart. But yeah, I guess that's like depends. And then Day of the Dead,
that story to
Bub is like starting to become conscious and like figure out how to use weapons and stuff. And so there's like an evolution happening across Romero's trilogy. So like they're all kind of dealing with it.
Well, this is like a really good example too of like how you conduct yourself, how you set up your movie, the way like you handle it can really affect like the viewer's perspective and like enjoyment of it. Because I remember I think when we watched Night of the Living Dead for the first time, I think I kind of made a comment or at least had a thought about, like them using tools and things like that. Because a lot of the time, the idea that they try to sell you is they're not human anymore. They're gone. It's not who you knew and stuff like that. And sometimes they try to explain away of like which reflexes or there's some part of the memory still intact that, is muscle memory or something like that. But I like this because the characters, the characters are able to make smart decisions. So I love when he's like, let's get in the attic. Because that's literally like always my first thought. It's like, get in the goddamn attic. They can't climb shit, but they can climb shit. And there's a reason that they can climb shit and know, like, so it just sells really well. And it doesn't take a whole lot of setup or it's easy to buy into. And you just have to like put in the work to set your foundation lore, and it's easy to kind of like sell it in that way. And I like it because people are able to make good decisions that make sense, but still like a challenge is presented,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I just really like it because it just fully leans into the idea that these zombies can plot, they can talk, they have motivations. It's not like there's definitely something interesting about the idea that, there's still something in there. Oh, maybe something can reemerge, or maybe they aren't dead. Like in 28 Days Later, the original is like, they're not dead, but they're not a lot. Like, well, can they be cured? I don't know. It's shit like that. Walking Dead, there was that like, there's still a little bit of activity. It's less, but it's still there. Like that sort of thinking exists in a lot of these movies to some degree. To your point, Rob, but like. This is the one that really leans into the idea that, nope, these things are just fucking walking around. The Reanimator notwithstanding, because
they're outsmarting some of the humans in this.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like playing fucking pranks, deadly pranks on fucking people. It's pretty funny. I don't know. Yeah. It's just you just don't see much of that even now. And like I think that the punch would be taken out of it at this point. Like the only other movie that like has really played zombies for laughs effectively since that I can think of has been Shaun of the Dead, at least to the level, this level, I would say. And they're not doing this same trick. They're doing different tricks. They're doing homage trickery and setup payoff. So yeah, I don't know, man. How much more glowing can I do for this movie? Probably a lot more.
Keep going. In addition to that, like, Randy, you mentioned the sort of like punk rock like vibe of this. Like the soundtrack I think plays into that just as much as anything. And I love like the intro music. Like as soon as you get that title card drop and then like you're zooming through and you see the body bag hanging. Yeah, the meat locker and you see the cadavers start to squirm around in the bag. It's just like gets you so fucking amped when that music kicks in. And then like all the needle drops they have throughout this with like 45 Grave and the Cramps. Like there's just like great fucking needle drops that TSOL song that Trash like strips to, and then whenever she was like reanimated, they play like a weird like reverse version of it. It's like kind of her theme.
I never noticed
in a way. Yeah, there's just they use music to like such great effect. That Do You Want a Party song, like anytime the toxic gas shoots up in the air, like from the incinerator or from the nukes, like that. Do you want a party? Like needle drop just gets you so amped. The first time it happens when the skeleton like pops up out of the grave and it still has eyeballs, like man,
it's kind of the Monster Mash.
It kind of is, yeah, yeah. I'm ready to party. I do want to party. I'm ready.
I'm a dead guy and I'm ready to party. Let's party.
Let's do it.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, I think it does have that kind of like punk rock feel, even in the way that we describe it, because it is actually, constantly critiquing, and it starts from the very beginning with, when they first hit the gas and the tank comes open and stuff like that, it's always about this shifting of blame, of like nobody taking responsibility and like just pushing it and pushing it. So the head guy's name, or the guy who owns, is Bert. Is it Frank?
Yeah,
Frank is the
like a manager or foreman or
yeah,
something.
okay. So Frank,
innocent, man.
At first too, one of the first things he says to Freddie or something is like, if you want to keep this job or whatever, and then it pushes to Bert, and then Bert's such a son of a bitch, because even when the mortician is like, your friends' lives could depend on this, like, you call in the government number to know what we're dealing with, and he's like, well, that might take a couple days or whatever, or we might have to wait on that or something like that. And it even till Randy's point of going up to this general who they have lost this toxic waste, and they're willing to just nuke a city for their mistakes, like the blame just gets shifted. But it's in a film that's like constantly kind of critiquing the establishment and the way of the world, and this kind of like youthful perception of it, like fuck you guys and stuff like that. It doesn't feel preachy. It's so fun and goofy and lighthearted in those ways, and everybody like kind of gets their comeuppance in these like wacky kind of ways, that it does have that kind of perfect blend of those things.
Well, it's like everybody who makes a decision, like it's kind of this blend of like paths to glory, where it's like everybody's looking out for number one in one way or another, and the people that actually like Spider is the only character that's like willing to go back into some shit for his friends, and he is like dragged away basically by Bert. He's like, no, I'm not leaving my fucking friends, you asshole. He's like, we'll send somebody back for him, and then they get fucking ripped to shreds. Their car crashes, I think, and it's just like it is that youthful thing of it's like, the people in charge don't know what the fuck they're doing, and that's like, it's that teenage new understanding of that, where it's just like, well, fuck this then. People in charge don't know what the fuck they're doing any better than I do. I might as well save my friends. I might as well get the fuck in here, or make my plan, or call this guy an asshole. I don't care if I lose my fucking job. Of course I fucking don't. Like, I don't know. There's something like just true about that at the core of it to some degree, and it's really put on display by how the errors just keep compounding on each other and compounding and compounding. Like the fact that these things are even there and they haven't called anybody about them. Why? Like, there's no
just like an interesting conversation.
He must have been getting kickbacks or something. Yeah, it's just something for fucking
cool.
Frank to impress the new kid with.
Yeah, it's interesting that it does have such a youthful vibe to it, because Dan O'Bannon, I believe when he directed this, he was about 37, 38, something like that. So like not young.
That's young,
not
baby.
young, not old.
That's young.
Not old, but it does feel like of its time, and like very critical of its time. And from what I was like, reading about Dan O'Bannon, there's a sort of like an interview snippet where Casey's Jewel Shepard, who plays Casey in the movie, she's got the blue hair, was talking about how she met Dan O'Bannon. She was a stripper in this club that he would frequent, and he wanted to hire her to play trash, but she didn't want to play that character. She's like, I'm naked all the time and all this stuff. I don't want to be naked in your movie. And he's like, well, I got this like party character that might suit you well. And she's like, yeah, that sounds about right, because I guess he would also just supply her with drugs frequently, and like they would, I don't know, party a lot.
Wow.
So there was
really making a strong case for Dan there.
He sounds like maybe an anti-establishment fellow. There was another
sounds like it.
Another one of the actresses came over to read. I forget who it was. I'm sorry. Maybe Beverly Randolph, who plays Tina. I think that might have been the character. She like went over to his house to like read some lines and audition for a role, and she walked in, and apparently he just had like porn on the TV and just like a gun on the coffee table, and she just walked right back out. And I was like,
man, that's
probably a good intuition there. Just listen to your gut. That's
Jesus
but she's in the movie.
Christ.
I don't know. I guess it worked out somehow.
I was
somewhere.
trying to see how old she was because she's saying like, oh, he was 37 or whatever. But even on our Wikipedia, it only shows her years active. Her earliest film was in 1978 for a movie called Teen Lust. So that was 1970, which is a sexploitation film. So that was almost 10 years before this, so that's like 7 years before this, and it was like a sexploitation, so she had to be old enough.
For sure.
Hoping.
Yeah, sounds like it. So. But yeah, Dan O'Bannon seems like a bit of a character, by all accounts, anyways.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
It's like,
but yeah, I don't know, man. It's
our boy Randy, he's a bit of a character, you know.
We'll just leave it at that, okay? Let your mind run
bit
wild.
of a Dan O'Bannon, you know.
It's like
every time I go over there, it's just guns and porn. Let me tell you,
and drugs.
But
he's just supplying these young strippers with drugs.
Honestly, well, never mind. I can't say.
They call him Randy.
Honestly,
Randy.
yeah.
What are you about to like?
I can't
confess something here.
No. I was. We can trim this out.
Cool. So yeah, he's a bit of character. He's
Yeah.
Well, he's dead.
Yeah.
So he's not.
He was.
He's living dead.
He's living his best Tarming life.
Oh man.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I really liked about like the punk, as far aesthetically the punk rock stuff, was the fucking names. There's something like I love that this movie leans into that very 80s impulse to name every fucking counterculture character like a piece of like flesh or like something disgusting. Stench. Scuzz. Trash, suicide, fucking cum bucket, fucking dickweed, like
your boy
like
Chuck
paint
the
sniffer,
cook.
or like Chuck, and Chuck is like, but also like the looks of the different guys. Like these people don't look like a lot of them seem like they match, but some of them don't look like they even fit together.
Oh,
it's just
which they kind of address that too, because they're like, I never liked you, or you know, they're
Chuck,
not really friends. They're just kind of like a group
like
of
it spooky.
outcasts. Yeah,
I think Chuck is like the outsider because he's got like a coat on, like a business coat.
he's like new wave looking.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah, that's it. Yeah, precisely. And he's trying to get with Tina, I believe, and she's breaking his balls constantly. Yeah, it's like, I never really liked you. He is getting like cucked. He's getting sidelined pretty hard. Poor little
Chuck
feller.
the Cuck. That's what they call him.
That's
Bud
what
the
they
Chud
call him.
and Chuck the Cuck. That's the duo.
Chud
watched
3.
that buddy
Chuck
cop
the Cuck.
comedy.
Chud the cuck. Okay. We're done with
That's
that. We'll stick a pin in that.
weird. Done with that.
We're done
We are done
with
that.
that. Yeah, I don't know. Any other major things you guys want to touch on? We've been like gushing. I guess like I do. If I had a con, I think it would be that like maybe the last 15 minutes or so, I do find myself thinking it's like a bit redundant. They're going like from building to building to building to building.
Yeah.
And just more people are getting like showing up and getting eaten immediately. And I do find myself wondering like, or maybe feeling, because I know how the movie ends, like feeling like, where are they going with this? And then eventually they just blow everything up and it kind of ends. So like the ending might not be the strongest ending. It does get to, I think, the point that the establishment doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. They're not going to be like held accountable, and they just say fuck it and blow things up and make everything worse. So like the point, I think, comes across well, but it does feel kind of like and the movie just ends, you know?
Yeah, it kind of like it is a Deus ex machina, where like everything that led up to that point, all the characters you cared about or not, or had a feeling about, they all just fucking blow up, and that's that. You know, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. I do kind of agree that they meander a little bit towards the end, but I think that more than anything, this movie has just maybe, if I was gonna pinpoint something, I'd say it has too many of those characters for the amount of individual kills we get. Like I feel like there's a lot of red shirts that last the entire movie.
Don't
up
get
until
red
the big
shirted.
bomb.
Yeah,
you know, like
Yeah.
they don't fulfill their promise of getting a unique and interesting kill just for them. You know what I mean?
they have
So like Chuck and I forget
Tina.
the blue hair Tina. No, well, yeah,
No,
Tina.
Casey.
Oh, Casey. Yeah.
Well, Tina has the turn of her boyfriend turning or whatever. That's pretty brutal. And then she's like gets fucking Nazi ass Luger to the head in the end, like from Ernie, which is another weird thing that's going on in this movie. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like there's. I just feel like, especially Chuck and Casey, don't get. They don't get the best lines. They don't get the best things to do.
They're not
don't
doing
get the best
anything.
dads.
Yeah.
They're just in another
room.
building. Yeah,
Scuzz
they're in
doesn't-
another building and they get.
Scuzz doesn't really do much either. He is a true red shirt though.
True.
He gets his brain bitten off by the torso corpse or whatever. But yeah, there's some characters that maybe feel kind of fluffy. You know, they didn't have to pack 7 of them in that one car. They could have done maybe 5. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But, that's a minor quibble ultimately because I don't dislike seeing them there either. Like,
yeah,
it all just kind of adds to the great tapestry.
yeah. I do really like Ernie's character, the Undertaker, the Mortician. Like, I think he's a really well written, like interesting character, and he has like decent ideas. Like, he feels like a capable character who, like, in the moment is a guy that, like, for some reason just has a gun on him at all times, even though he's like only around dead bodies. But like, he does seem like a guy that, like, if you were in the shit, like, yeah, you might think that maybe I should go across the street and talk to my buddy, you know, and see if he can help me out or something. But it is interesting, like, all of the context around him and him, like, just pretty plainly being like a Nazi, which is maybe
a Nazi or at least Nazi adjacent.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe a sympathizer of some sort.
but he
which
doesn't act that way.
he
I find it
doesn't.
a little confusing, honestly. Like, because he does seem like the rational person in the room, and he's like, but he doesn't do anything outwardly evil necessarily. Everything he does is to help out with the cause or the situation or whatever.
Oh, the cause, huh?
The cause, yes.
So
he's the one that's coming up with the solution.
I've got a
the
trivia
solution,
point I can
huh?
read
Jesus
here.
Christ.
So the character of Ernie, played by Don Calfa, is thought to be a Nazi due to him sharing his name
he's
with...
Don Calfa. I always thought Frank was Don Calfa. I'm sorry.
They
Got that
do
mixed up earlier.
They do kind of look similar. I get that. So, he shares his name with Ernst Kaltenbrunner. There are also character details that provide an indication of his past. He listens to the German Corps marching song Panzer Roland and Afrika Vor on his Walkman. He also carries a German Walter P-38. He's got a picture of Eva Braun in his morgue. And he refers to the rainstorm coming down like Ein Betrunken Soldat, which means a drunk soldier. And Dan O'Bannon in the DVD commentary mentions that Ernie was intended to be an escaped Nazi in hiding, apparently. So he just comes out and says it. I'm not exactly sure. You want to kill a Nazi? Not sure exactly what the point is. Maybe some other kind of criticism of, like, you know, the state exploiting and failing people.
That's the thing that's what's confusing about it, is like, I kind of wish that wasn't in there, or if it was in there, there was something to his character that made it seem like that made him villainous, or gave like, I don't know, gave purpose to that. Because if he's an escaped Nazi, but he's helping. Like,
yeah, he doesn't seem
helpful.
like, he seems like a decent dude.
It's not too bad,
can
right?
tell.
I mean,
oh God.
Once you get to know him, he's got some really interesting ideas.
He's got this solution.
It's an interesting choice, and maybe he used it as like a shorthand to make this character feel more fleshed out, you know, to like a shortcut kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
know.
I guess it's kind of like the punk things too. You have these characters where they have attributes about them. But I mean, but that is kind of weird because the punks are played up to like a caricature type of degree, you know.
Totally, yeah.
Suicide's over here, you brooding about his feelings and shit like that, and you know, all his crazy piercings and busting his own windows out and shit. And Trash is talking about like getting, you know, molested by old men and shit. So I mean, yeah, it is kind of weird that you have then this like, oh, he's just a Nazi. It's like, oh,
just
okay,
like your friendly
that's
neighborhood
kinda weird.
Nazi escapee. Yeah, it's just he's the most capable person in the group, maybe. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like he's the one with the like who's the most in command of the situations that he finds himself in, I would say. Like
Yeah,
Bert
him and Spider
kind of does, but he keeps fucking up. Frank is just a fuck up, like and Spider has good instincts or whatever, but yeah, he's like shouted down most of the time. So
yeah, I think he's the only one in the movie that actually says Tarman, like calls Tarman, I believe.
He does, yeah,
which is interesting. Yeah, I don't know what the point of that is, but I like the character though. Like he's helpful. He's he's logical.
So your family's from Germany, right, Bob? That's where you.
I'm fresh off the boat, dog. Yeah, totally. So an interesting point. Yeah. Any other points you guys want to touch on before we rate this thing?
I don't know.
Think so.
It would just lead to more gushing. So let's just wrap her up.
Just keep gushing and gushing.
Gush.
All right. Out of 5, Ray and Diesel. How do you feel about Return of the Living Dead?
Well, I just went back to our original scores here just for reference, and I gave this a 5 out of 5, and I'm not feeling too different than that right now. Like, whatever the sharp edges are that we can identify when we sit down and really put our minds to it just now, I just am not that bothered. And my love of everything else really just makes them not matter. So yeah, I'm going to stick with a 5. I think this movie fucking really stood the test of time. That was my first viewing. It's still my opinion now. It only had room to grow or only had room to fall. And it didn't. Like, I've only grown more affectionate towards this movie. It makes perfect sense that this movie is as revered as it is. It's just a perfect mishmash of tones that you want out of like a somewhat schlocky horror movie. It's silly, it's scary, it's funny, it's bleak, it's fucking what's the word? Irreverent. Has no reverence for people or society or anything else. It's got a little punk rock edge to it, which I have a proclivity towards. I just like it, man. What can I say? It's a really fucking fun movie with great effects, fun performances, insane dialogue, and it just moves. It just moves its ass the whole time for the most part. I love it. It's a great movie. 5 stars.
Damn. 5 stars from Rand Diesel. Juice, how do you feel?
Yeah, watching this movie makes me feel like I'm not an old grumpy piece of shit, which is awesome because when you watch a lot of horror movies,
because I really am.
Yeah, kind of. But you pick things apart and you complain about things and things don't live up. But I mean, this is just the perfect blend to me. It's fun to watch a movie that doesn't take itself too seriously while respecting itself. It's just, it's what, 40 years old at this point, and the special effects look great. I mean, that torso on the table, like I said, just the guy screaming, and he's like all yellow, and it's just disturbing and weird. And what's his name getting that acid throw? Freddy getting his acid thrown in his eyes and stuff. It's just I don't know. It just hits the right spot. Like everything kind of flows well. And I didn't really comment on the ending. I do kind of agree that it kind of does just end, but at the same time, it is also fun. It's kind of like reminds me of like Little Shop of Horrors, let's just say, not to spoil the ending of that movie, but this thing where it's like it's just going to continue on. This dread.
That's the good ending.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. Where just the acid rain comes again, it's just gonna get bigger and bigger, so they've kind of already shown you, and your imagination gets to run wild. And that's like a fun horror type of ending. Everybody dies, and it just matches with the tone, I think, so well. There are some characters who don't get much to do, and they probably could have ultimately been cut, and I think that's fair, but it's just a fun ride. I just really like it, and it does also bring a lot of great lore and good performances and some really dark undertones, and 5 star for me. Really, really enjoy this one. Bob, out of 5, where are you going to rate this?
5 stars out of 5 from me, boy. So
Close.
yeah, this is a great movie. I every time I watch it, like as soon as it's over, I feel like hell. Let's just throw it back on one more time for the one more for the road. Like,
Damn.
I just don't really ever get bored with it.
I've just never stopped watching
I've
this.
watched it for 10 years straight.
One more
I
time.
was out here stimming on this movie.
That's why it's got so many copies.
Yeah, I've worn
Makes sense.
several
Like,
out.
He has to have one. He's his fingers
One ready
hovering over
on
play,
a different TV.
just as the nuke's falling on the other one. And now.
You got to sync
Gotta
them
sync
up.
them up to Pink Floyd, bro.
Oh hell yeah, dude! I know what I'm doing tonight.
Randy's getting stoned. Yeah, this movie's great. I'm so glad that we watched it, so long ago, and that it's sort of stuck around and we've revisited it so many times. The characters are just like so fun. They're entertaining as hell, and you really do feel like when they're in the shit that they're like way over their heads, and you're like feel for them, you're scared for them. When the zombies show up, like they're like so well designed that you do feel like, oh, anybody could get, their brains eaten out at any time. But while all that's happening, you're still busting a gut. And it manages to walk that line so perfectly in a way that's so hard to do. So, like, it's so incredibly hard that, like, 1 second you're, like, gross the fuck out, and the next second you're laughing. Like, how... And to do that, like, time and time again throughout this entire movie, it's just, like... That kind of thing blows my mind a little bit to, like, get it this perfectly is just so, so hard. I love the aesthetic of it. The sort of like, it's an endlessly quotable movie. Like, Trash doesn't say a whole lot, but like everything she says is just so deadpan and absurd.
It's
and
a
just
statement.
It's a fucking statement. It's so fucking hilarious. Suicide is kind of the same way. Those two characters are just fucking hilarious. Frank and Freddie like panicking at the beginning of the movie just like has me cracking up. Ernie is like the probably the most like notable, most memorable Undertaker like in any movie. It's like sort of a common trope that they always like throw in horror movies, and like he's sort of like the pinnacle of that for me. I think he just sticks out in your brain like so well. He's so well defined.
Tony Todd might have something to say about that, but all right.
That's true. That's true. He's not in those movies enough, though. He kind of passes through.
Sure, that's fair.
It's very innovative too. Like we mentioned, the whole zombies eating brains to stop the pain. Them being exposed to this toxic chemical, and that being the genesis of whatever this widespread reanimation of corpses is. And like each time like the toxic rain happens, it gets worse and worse. It really like takes whatever zombie tropes were in existence at the time and kind of throws them out the window and starts over from scratch. And it does it with like such confidence, and it feels like, zombies eat brains. They always have. What are you talking about? Like, it just, you don't question.
It's weirdly
it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
No,
it's just like weirdly a nuclear holocaust movie in some ways.
Yeah,
there's definitely some like fucking Cold War fear going into this thing. The acid rain, the fucking sludge, that kicks the whole thing out. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. The army like concealing shit and like spy level shit. There's something going on with that too. Like, it's very, very present. I don't know. I just wanted to point that out.
It's got layers. Soundtrack's incredible. I love the soundtrack of this. The practical effects, some of the best ever. It's just, we're just gushing and gushing and gushing. I've already mentioned that the ending might not be the most satisfying, but other than that, I really don't have any criticisms. It's a 5 out of 5. Never get tired of it. Watch it every year. I don't like soft ass shit. We don't like soft ass shit around these parts. That's a perfect score. That's a 5 out of 5 from the Straight Chillin' crew. Again,
I want to point this out. It wasn't a 5 out of 5 the first time. It was out of the three of us. Bob, you and I gave it a 5. Juice, you went up a whole point. Your love of this movie has grown.
Ooh.
So welcome to the fold.
Juice.
I'm a grower.
Thank God for that.
That's the only response that could have come out of your mouth. I realize now. It's a one-way track. Oh man, yeah. And Drew gave it a 4.5 way back in the day. I wonder what he'd feel about it now. We'll have to call him up and ask him. But
Drew.
yeah, we gave it a 4.6 aggregate, 5 flat. Now,
Hell yeah.
This is a movie that maintains and surpasses its previous expectation.
Love to see it.
Maintains its growth.
Dude, when I was listening to the
It's a shower.
The original review that we did for this, we were back at the old Lydia house, and there was a large crawl space, and at some point halfway through the movie we heard something like scratching at the floor in the living room, and it sounded like it was trying to like come through the floor, and we were like, what the fuck is happening? We're like freaking out a little bit. It's probably just a raccoon or something, but
dude, those episodes,
it was rats or raccoons or some shit. Yeah. That I heard that shit in the walls.
I should probably throw those up on YouTube or something. I mean, they're on our website, but they're a little hard to get to.
Yeah, we used a room mic back in those days, so you can like kind of hear the clawing a little bit. Like
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
last known audio footage. Audio footage.
The audio
thing,
footage.
Right?
You boys were in your mid-20s that time. Whoa.
You were just 7, and
you were already a grumpy
hanging out.
Old man.
I mean, I was a teenager, you know.
We didn't. I want to point this out for explicit clarity. We did not hang out with teenagers when we were in our mid-20s.
No, we did not.
Thank you. Good night.
Cool. That's a
one. No teenagers.
That's a 5-star. That's a 5-star from Straight Chillin' Crew. Let's jump over to our Rotten Tomato segment. See what the critics and users have to say.
Certified.
Rob, how dare you try and keep this train on the rails? How fucking dare you?
Gotta do it.
All right. This is the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to have these gentlemen guess within the best of their abilities what the aggregate positive score is for Return of the Living Dead on RottenTomatoes.com. Starting, as we always do, with the critic score, also known as the tomatometer, and then moving over to the poopometer, or the user score. So on the tomatometer, on the critic score, there are 44 reviews. I can't keep that shit straight.
I know.
It's been fucking 10 years.
Critic user score.
It's a lot to cover. It's a fucking lot to cover. 44 reviews. I could have written it down for years, and I haven't.
Never will. Never will.
Never will. I'm going to continue to fuck it up until the day I die. All right, here we go.
Use critic score.
It's a statement.
44 reviews counted in the critics category. 44. I'm going to start with Juice today since you came up and joined us in the 5-star club here today. What do you think those 44 reviewers gave this film on average?
Positive. I think it's going to be quite high. I don't know how high. The critics, I don't know. Is it as beloved as we think it is? I'll say 89, but I'm now thinking that might be a little
89.
too high.
That's an interesting choice. All right. Bob, how about you?
Yeah, I think it's going to be high. I'll take the over with a 91 so that maybe we can tie.
Okay.
All right. So we got 89 from Soju, 91 from Bob, and I'm so sorry to say there will be no tie because somebody got it dead fucking on at 91%. Bob's walking home with this one. Certified.
I thought it was going to be me spot on because you're like, oh, an interesting choice, interesting number.
I just always think it's interesting. I would always guess a 5 out of like fives out of fives. Like I would never go with like a 79 or like a 67. I would always go 45, 50, 55, 60. Because what's the fucking point? Anyway. So that's it.
Winning is
congratulations, Bob. 91% certified fresh. 44 reviews. That's pretty good for a movie of this age. There are 50,000 plus ratings from the users, however, so quite a few more. We're going to go in reverse order here. Bob, what do you think those 50,000 plus ratings from users are going to aggregate to?
I still think it's going to be high. That's a lot. With that large of a sample size, I would think it would drive the score down a little bit. But like, not much. I'm just going to go with a 90. I'll take a 90.
Now that's a good Christian score. Nice and even.
Nice and round,
Juice.
like God.
Don't you bring that devilry here, Soju. What are you going to give it?
I think it's going to be a little bit lower, but not too much. But so we could potentially tie. And because they're my boys, I'm going to take the boys 86.
All right. The 86ers. All right. Well, neither of you are spot on, and there will be no tie. I'm sorry to say for both. But one of you is just 6 percentage points away from glory here. And that's going to be Soju. It's 80% flat, a good Christian number.
A good
Sure.
0.
Just as God intended.
Well, that's a skeet and yeet, Bob, right there.
Mhm.
Skeet and yeet.
As it should be. I feel like that's right.
As it should be. Remember when we had that sweet skeet and yeet run for like 6 episodes or
Skeet
something?
and eat sweep. We just kept man, we really peaked back in those.
Yeah, we did.
Back in
Peak
2
skeet
months
and eat.
ago. Whatever.
Want to
2
eat?
months. That was like last year, bro.
What is time? Who knows, dude?
All right. So the critics' consensus reads as follows. A punk take on the zombie genre. The Return of the Living Dead injects a healthy dose of 80s silliness to the flesh-consuming. Yeah, that's all plenty fair. Kind of surface, but that's perfectly fine for this movie.
Consume the flesh, Randy.
Like
Farewell.
Christians.
Like the good Christian
They consume
flavor.
Jesus Christ every Sunday.
That's right.
Drink his blood.
Every
Your
Sunday.
tone is
Wow.
like really fucking me up here. Like, it's really way too seductive. Let me tell you.
I've always been a creeper.
All right. Let's read some negative reviews now just to see how fun or not fun they can be. Here's one. The volume of stagey gore quickly reaches a point of diminishing returns.
Wrong.
That was so fun.
I didn't know that you could be paid to lie that much.
Oh, Randy.
Be paid to do anything, Randy.
Actually, you can definitely get paid to lie a lot. I think we all know this.
Juice says,
Actually,
write
I'm
me a
looking at
check.
this.
I mean, whatever.
What are we talking here?
I'm looking, and there's only a handful of negative scores, and that is the only one with a blurb. So there we go.
All right.
End of Rotten Tomatoes. Bob, how's that
Hilarious.
trivia looking?
Yeah, we got more trivia. Let's do it.
It's totally time for trivia.
All right,
What a ride.
boys. Apparently, the appearance of the zombies in the film were inspired by the mummies of Guanajuato, Mexico, and the bog people of Wales.
The bog people.
Okay, yeah.
Jesus Christ. That's
pretty
rules.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I've
bog
been
people.
listening to the fucking Viagra Boys recently and their song, The Bog Body.
Bog Body, yeah.
And that shit is a steady roller. That is a song that should be paired with this movie like a fucking fine wine.
The bog body.
That fucking song rules.
It'll
and
get
the video rules.
stuck in your head. Yeah, it's a good video. Check it out, all you nerds out there. Check it out. The film features 2,4,5-trioxin, which is a chemical developed by the Darrow Chemical Company for the military. That was a play on the real-life Dow Chemical Company and its involvement in the 1960s with the manufacture of Agent Orange, scientifically known by the name 2,4,5-T-dioxin, used in the Vietnam War. Fun
No
trivia.
commentary to add to
I
that.
know. Hey,
Woefully ill-prepared for the geopolitics of
Yeah.
Agent Orange right
hey,
now.
that shit sucked. Moving on.
That sounds like it sucks.
Man, that sucked!
Remember when we were the
Thanks,
villains?
Man,
Remember.
thank God those days are over. Yep.
We're just normal men.
Oh,
We're just innocent men.
fucking hell. This movie,
Maybe that first one applied.
maybe not so normal. There's a budget of roughly $4 million for this. It grossed $14 million theatrically. God only knows what it's grossed over the past 40 years, just with all these fucking Blu-rays coming out every 6 months.
Yeah, all these doofuses buying 3 or more copies.
It's insane.
These idiots are
Some
out of
people
control.
would say.
Fucking stupid idiot.
Fucking losers.
Little idiots! Idiots! Only if you own 4 copies, so that's the limit right there.
You got to draw the line at 3.
You got to draw the line somewhere.
You got.
Oh man.
And now I'm drawing it at 4.
You got to draw the line.
You know what? One too many.
You got to draw it.
That's too much.
I love drawing lines. You got to do it. I love doing it.
You love restraint, Bob.
Yeah, this is a man who knows his restraint.
I'm just waiting for someone to restrain me. That's what it is. I'm just over here waiting, just like, stop me. Somebody stop me.
Buddy, at some point, those blues are going to fall off their shelves, and you're going to be restrained whether you like it or not.
Oh yeah, maybe that's my long con.
Being crushed by blues is Bob's biggest kink in the world.
Yeah.
Bob, do you have that room properly insured? What's that room insured for?
God damn.
Well, I mean, the house
Carrie's
is
legs
insured.
have less insurance.
Dude, I would, dude, if you got it's like you got hit with like a flood or something, dude, what would the report on that room be? Well, here's 3 copies of Return of the Living Dead. One of them was a steelbook, and one of
fraud.
them was,
Send him to jail.
There would be
nobody
a long,
owns 3 copies of the same film.
be a long document. Let me tell you,
Dude, that would be a long document.
Jesus Christ.
Anyways, moving on. Alan Troutman said in the DVD commentary, he plays Tarman in the movie, that one of the main ingredients for the tar was methicil, which is a thickening agent used in milkshakes, also used in The Blob from 1988 to make that pink goo.
Yummy.
This is like something that's really obvious in the movie that we didn't mention. It's just a silly little gag, but there's that eye test poster that's hanging in the office, and it says,
this time's the first time I ever saw it.
Oh, it says Bert is a slave driver and a cheap son of a bitch who's going bald to haha. That's what it reads.
Yeah, I could only see, as it was shown in the background, I could only get to Bert is a slave driver. But I was like, oh wait, what? That says something.
Show does.
Damn, man.
This is like a bit of trivia. I think that it's sort of well known, but a bit of trivia. Whenever Linnea Quigley was doing her gravestone dance in the 80s, one of the producers, Graham Henderson, came on to visit the shoot that day. When she was dancing, he's like, for some reason, he freaked out that like she had pubic hair. He's like, you can't show pubic hair in the movie. So like they, shaved it. And then she did it again, and he was like, oh God, it's so much worse because now you can just see everything so much more clearly, which like, duh, dude. What did you fucking think was going to happen? So
that's what a boy likes.
So they ended up having a prosthetic sort of like bikini piece that was flesh tone made for her to wear.
Wait a minute. I always thought that it was like a choice she made to do that. Like, is that not true? I didn't realize the pubic hair story. I thought I heard somewhere that she was like, no, I didn't want to go 100% on film.
Take this with a bit of salt, with a grain of salt, because I found this bit on IMDb. I seem to remember them saying that as well in the documentary.
Maybe it's 2 things. All right.
Yeah. But anyway, she's wearing like a bikini, flesh colored bikini kind of prosthetic thing that they had made for her in the final cut there. So he's an idiot, basically, is what that boils down to. There you go. Thanks, Graham Henderson.
Damn. Shooting your shots at old Graham.
That motherfucker.
How dare you steal this from me?
That's not what I meant. Just seems like a lot to put the actress through for no fucking reason. Linnea Quigley, speaking of the dance scene, she originally danced to a song called Nasty Girl by Vanity during the filming, but that was later swapped out for Tonight We'll Make Love Until We Die. There you go. A banger. Right. George Clooney apparently was Tom Matthews' roommate, so he visited the set. Tom Matthews, who plays Freddy in the movie. I guess they were living together at the time, and they would hang out.
That's cool.
Isn't that nice?
That's right. I guess he was. When did Return?
The Tomatoes.
The Tomatoes, yeah.
Attack of the
Hey,
fucking
90, I want to
Tomatoes.
say 91, right? Or
Return of the Killer
89,
Tomatoes?
91? Yeah, the George
Because the
Clooney
original
one.
was 70s, late 70s, I want to say.
Oh, was
So
it? Okay.
I think so. I'd have to look it up.
I say, if only we all had access to the internet.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay. 88. So it came out well after this, actually. But
That's just 3
another-
years.
Yeah, a few years.
I mean, not immediately at the same time or anything. I was wondering if they maybe were filming two fucking relatively well-regarded horror comedies at the same time. That would have been interesting. But no, not quite.
So this is the last bit I have here. It's kind of a long bit though. So this spawned 6 sequels. Not all of them are out yet. So Return of the Living Dead 2 came out in 1988. Return of the Living Dead 3 came out in 93. Return of the Living Dead Necropolis and Return of the Living Dead Rave to the Grave both came out in 2005. Those were made for Sci-Fi. And then this year in December, there's supposed to be a movie just called Return of the Living Dead coming out. And
The second of its name. Oh boy, here we go.
and then there's another one that has been announced that doesn't have a date yet called Trash's Revenge, and they're bringing back Linnea Quigley and a lot of the original characters for that. So
Jesus,
what?
Jesus.
the one coming out,
Sleepaway Camp,
Jesus.
Return to Camp Arawak vibes.
yeah,
Dude, I've never seen any of those sequels. Have y'all?
yeah, I've seen
What?
the first 3, and I tried
Yeah,
watching.
Rob, you and I
Necropolis.
both watched all of the first 3.
Yeah,
together,
probably.
I think we
Probably.
rented one of them from that
Monsters
the
in
video
My Closet.
store. Monsters in My Closet when they were renting
Yeah.
out VHSs.
Yeah, that was
At
sick.
least the 90s one, yeah. That was kind of fun.
Yeah. So the one that's coming out this December, there's like a teaser trailer out for it. It looks like it's supposed to be, it has Tarman in the teaser trailer, and it's like Christmas time. He's dragging like a Christmas tree. I assume it's going to be a direct sequel to the original, I think, but it's got the exact same name. So don't you love it when they do that? And I think Trash's Revenge is supposed to be kind of like I think because they don't technically have rights to make a sequel to Return of the Living Dead, they're like making some sort of like meta commentary about like Trash, who played, or Linnea Quigley, who played this character of Trash, is, aged in Hollywood, and like I don't know. I really am not 100% sure what that one's all about. But so there's two more movies coming out. That's the point of the story.
I love
Our
when our
generation
fucking,
is responsible for this shit. I want to go ahead and point that out. We're in the charge now.
We're in the charge.
We're in the charge. We're in it. It's like in the shit, but a little different.
I don't know who's making these.
I mean, ridiculous sequels have been part of it since the 80s, but it's still just like, man, like we are just like pathologically, capitalistically incapable of letting good things just stay on their own and live. Like it's fucking. I was watching that Red Letter Media re-review of Back to the Future recently, and they like correctly said that the only thing stopping that from being rebooted or remade or whatever is fucking Zemeckis demanding that nobody ever touch it ever again.
Yeah, he's like, as long
until
as
the
I'm
day he
alive.
dies.
Yeah.
As long as I'm alive. And it's like, let's keep that dude on fucking whatever we gotta do to keep him alive, because we don't need that shit. There's a reason it's revered. It's because it hasn't been repeatedly ruined by people just trying to go to the well.
I mean, it shouldn't be revered. Like, it's a fun little movie.
Oh, we just gushed about it for an hour, so I mean,
no, I'm saying not to say like you can't enjoy something. It's just like, Jesus Christ, come on now, like
anything that people like
enjoy
and are willing to gush about.
Just enjoy it.
No, it's not allowed. You're not allowed to do that without then going for the fucking sequel. I mean, Jesus Christ, this is a standard
America.
procedure.
Hey, that's all the trivia I have. Let's talk Cooter of the Week.
Straight chillin'. Cooter of the Week.
Juice, what is a cooter and why do we hunt them?
Cooter Cooter's character type, and a straight chillin' exclusive.
Nice.
Cooter has to hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a Cooter. We want the Cooter with the most points. The 5 points of Cooterdom are sexual deviancy, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall look and attire, and overall patheticness. I think we've got probably a couple choices at least this week.
Sounds like Dan O'Bannon might be our guy. Let's start with characters. Let's start there.
I think Bert might hit the Cooter score this week.
What's your first point?
Manipulation.
Okay. I guess he kind of manipulates Ernie.
He lies to Ernie.
He's like trying to control the whole situation to like protect himself at all costs. You know, like
the biggest lie is he's like, I don't have the number. I can't get it till Monday. It's the weekend, so I just can't possibly contact the military. You're gonna have to burn this body, which then just makes everything exponentially worse.
Yes. So I would say manipulation. Patheticness.
I mean, yes, because every plan he makes kind of sucks. Like ultimately, he kind of just makes things worse.
Yeah, all of his making things worse. He like bails on everyone.
The thing that sticks out in my mind is when he first shows up to the UNITA medical supply and realizes that there's a reanimated corpse in the meat locker. He makes them open the door and try and kill it, and he like stands way off in the distance and hides behind something.
That's true.
Then he just
belittles them,
steamrolled anyways. Yeah,
he's like, what? I mean, you just gotta, he like just says constantly. I guess that also too leads to the manipulation. He's like, what? You're just swinging the ass, or what? You're just,
be a man,
Frank, be a man.
Yeah, shit like that.
But granted, they are also both having full scale panic attacks.
They are, which is very funny.
Sure.
Which is a great scene, but
yeah.
So I think he hits those two at least. So overall looking attire, I don't think there's anything that stands out.
No,
we'll get to that with maybe some other characters.
Sexual deviance, not so much.
I don't think so. And then there's just one more, which would be, so we got pathetic and manipulate. Oh, smug arrogance.
I mean, there's definitely a little bit of that because, like,
a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's pretty arrogant to subject your fucking your workers to that just because you don't want to get in fucking trouble.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's cowardly. That's maybe more pathetic than it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's quite. I don't know if he's the strongest Cooter in this movie. Is
okay.
I think he's like low key, but there. Like
low key Cooter.
Yeah, he's hitting on it.
Who do you think is the biggest Cooter, Randy?
Maybe Chuck. Chuck the Cuck.
Really?
Whoa. Yeah, okay.
I don't know. Like, I don't know biggest. I just want to explore it at least.
Explore
because he
Chuck,
is desperately trying to get laid and constantly getting shut down. But like,
well,
it's
not that.
Not that. Never that. But no, like he's constantly just getting like belittled and shit. He clearly doesn't like match this crew. Like, I don't know. He's kind of like a hanger on. It feels like to me. I feel like there's a lot of patheticness.
Pathetic piece of shit.
I don't know. I see it.
That one guy who always just kind of weaseling his way into the group,
Yeah.
There's always
we sure hate that kind of guy.
Yeah,
right.
Do.
Right,
sure
right, boys.
Right.
Who just can't take a hint.
Right. We're all agreeing. Right.
We are all.
Why didn't you guys invite me to watch those movies, Return of the Living Dead sequels, boys?
Yes.
10 years ago.
I remember watching that with you.
So you guys don't see Chuck then? You're not really seeing Chuck in this one.
Well, so Chuck
he's
pathetic.
A little,
Let's pathetic.
Yeah. I think that's just he's just ranking pretty high.
Just really
on that,
pathetic.
maybe.
But I don't think he does anything else because he's not even like sexual deviance. He's not like really pushing her. Yeah.
No, he kind of takes no for an answer. He doesn't. He's just like constantly on the. He's
pathetic and looking attire. We could give him patheticness and looking attire. He looks stupid. It looks
really cool for 1985.
No, he doesn't, Bob. Even at that
No, he doesn't, Rob.
He doesn't look. Rob, you're wrong. You're wrong.
So who else? I mean,
Suicide.
So he's got 2.
Suicide. Suicide has got some.
Suicide
real
looks
pathetic
badass.
action.
Oh my god.
You're a real leather daddy guy.
And he's kind of an alpha too. Do you see how he busted out those windows?
Oh yeah, all alphas bust out the windows.
Hell yeah. You know what?
Don't you have any respect for the dead?
He's actually really cool.
That line.
It's a lifestyle.
He has
But he's just
respect
like-
for himself, boys. See, he didn't just, sleep with trash out of desperation. He's a true alpha. He
reminds me of he's like a mopey version of Griff from Back to the Future 2. He's like just like fucked up out of his mind, screaming all the time, very huge, very like acts like he's gonna like beat the shit out of somebody. But this guy is he's just complaining all the time and whining like an asshole.
But he's
I don't know.
huge, so that's fine.
Oh yeah.
Don't you have any respect for the dead? It's like fucking Jesus Christ.
Just sleep with her, okay?
Yeah, in the grave. Or maybe not in the grave.
In the grave.
In the cemetery.
Open it up. Get in there.
God,
Look,
damn.
they'll make room for you. There's always room for one more.
Orgy. Damn. This is a little off the rails.
That's fucked up, man.
So yeah.
Oh boy.
So not sexually deviant. He's actually weirdly chaste.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
is. But again, maybe pathetic and looking attire, maybe. But he's not manipulating anybody. He's not smug arrogance. I don't know. I think
He almost crashes the car because he gets pissed off. Somebody calls him
he's
spooky
pretty
of all
smug,
things.
Yeah. I'd say
Okay.
I don't know. That takes a pretty fragile baby ego
low
to
key
me.
Cooter, Suicide, Burt's.
He does
see,
hit
who
the
else we got?
phantom point that like when Suicide actually gets eaten, I was like, yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Same with Bert too. I mean, he just gets exploded, but still, you're glad he's gone.
Yeah.
Or you would be happy if Bert got,
Yeah, he's a swindler.
I would be okay with Bert
He's
getting got.
kind of slimy. I don't know if anybody else is gonna. I mean, Frank maybe. I guess a little, but
Maybe a little, but he just seems
mainly
I don't know.
pathetic. I guess.
about trash.
I mean, Trash has got a fixation with death that she says she fantasizes about, and then it happens to her, and she clearly does not enjoy it.
So she's a
sometimes you
poser.
think you're going to be into something, Randy, and it's just not as good as the imagination, you know?
Tell me about one of your experiences.
Yeah, let's drill down here. Let's.
I thought, missionary might be something that might be a little, trying that vanilla lifestyle, but it just wasn't for me.
all chocolate all the time.
I don't know, man. Like, what is she? She's like, look at a tire. I mean, it's what?
Oh,
You
it's just
boys.
Bob.
You boys.
Once Bob gets into the realm of the poop or the butt, he just thinks that shit is too exactly.
Okay.
He just spirals out of control.
We know what kink Rob's primed for. He's just gotta go there. He's just gotta go right up in there.
Open up a can of whiffs.
Sometimes it's just as good as you thought it was going to be. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, sometimes it's better.
Oh, yeah. Okay, who's the Cooter? Are we done with this? We've been.
I don't fucking know. Nobody's like
It's
it's
Dan
really
O'Bannon.
hitting enough
It's
points.
Dan
Let's say
O'Bannon.
Dan O'Bannon.
We got
It
it.
sounded like Dan O'Bannon to me.
We're
calling it.
Yeah, all right. We got him. We got him locked up. We did it.
We got him.
Kind of did it.
Kind of. We kind of did. Let's talk about what we've been watching this week.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Rand Diesel, what you been watching?
Okay, we've got a little bit of a backlog here, but I got a couple episodes of the new Squid Game season 3 in. This show has diminishing returns. I think ultimately this first season is just so perfectly encapsulated. It really did not need these, but for being what it is, just a little bit just like thrill ridey or whatever, and just like a serialized drama, it's fine. I enjoy it. I'm enjoying it. I enjoyed the season 2 a little bit more because I was still high on the first, I think, a little bit. But season 3 is like after all this time, I think hitting a little bit different. It definitely feels like it's been weaker since season 1, and that's perfectly fine. I'm still enjoying myself. Also starting up about like 4 episodes into the new season of The Bear, and I still fucking enjoy the shit out of that show. I don't really have a whole lot of negative things to say about that show. I have genuine affection for those characters, and I really I love the way it's written. I love the way it's shot. I love the way it's acted. Like, it's just, I don't have a lot of negatives about it. I know that it's a little bit repetitive. Not a little bit. It is a repetitive show, but it's a serialized drama that's going on for its 4th season. I know what I'm in for, and I'm not too upset with it yet. Eventually it'll wear out its welcome, but it hasn't yet for me. That was kind of a quick read of the TV stuff. Actually, that's not true. There's also The Residents, which came out a while ago as a I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but Shonda Rhimes. Is it Shonda Rhimes? Oh no, yeah, I think so. The creator of Orange is the New Black and Weeds or whatever, she did this show that was a miniseries murder mystery set in the White House with the woman who played Crazy Eyes in Orange is the New Black as like sort of like the Poirot type character, whatever. It's a really fun murder mystery show. I really enjoyed it. I was shocked that I could enjoy it considering it's set in the White House, and the state of the world is not something that usually brings me pleasure right now. So it manages to work around that quite nicely by being agnostic to all that sort of shit for the most part. And it also it's, I think, pretty true. I've taken a tour of the White House before. I've been to like that hotel we went to when you guys came to town that's across the way or whatever. That hotel comes into play. We went to the bar, in the basement of the Hay Adams Hotel. The Hay Adams Hotel is mentioned and shown. Like, it's nice place setting. As somebody who lives in town, I liked some of that sort of shit. The performances are fun, and there's a fuck ton of familiar faces in that show. So I recommend that. It's pretty fun. Listen to a podcast called Deep Cover. I guess it's a multi-season, like different story every season sort of show. But it's a true crime about, I think, people that are just like living assumed identities of some kind. This one was called The Truth About Sarah, who is a woman who basically pretended to be a veteran and conned her way through a lot of fucking money from a lot of different people and a lot of shit, and like stole people's identities and shit. It's very fucked up. But it's your typical podcast true crime. It's good for what it is. But it's ultimately kind of pointless at this point for me to listen to. It's I'm starting to like feel more exploitative when I listen to that sort of shit. There's that with how much true crime there is in the world right now.
Yeah, for sure.
This feels a little bit close to that, but also they interview her, like she is interviewed in it, which I thought was pretty interesting. You don't get that in a lot of those true crimes, and it's interesting to hear her perspective on it because it is, well, I don't want to spoil it. It's very weird. Let's see, what have I missed? I also watched a show called Trainwreck Poop Cruise. Trainwreck is a series. Poop Cruise is the episode, and it is like that cruise from like 2013 or something that like the power went out, like there was a fire on board, and like all the electrical equipment went haywire, and they're in the middle of the fucking ocean, and they just have no power, and they're like sweltering in the heat and shitting in the shower, and then the shit starts rising up from the fucking tanks, and it's pretty gross, and it's extremely ridiculous. It's again a documentary thing. Rob, I highly recommend it specifically for you, based on just me describing it to you.
Oh god, it makes it worse because
Bob.
I know Justin's just like waiting for me to crack, and it makes it so much harder to keep a straight face.
There was that movie, that came out 2 year Triangle of Sadness, was it?
Yeah.
That has that crazy episode scene that's
sinking
like
scene.
that. Yeah, oh my god, where there's just
That
shit
movie is
everywhere.
ridiculous. Yeah, I'm glad you've seen that, Bob, because if you hadn't, I would recommend that as well. That's a better movie. And then last, I'm just going to mention, I did end up getting the Switch too. I mentioned that before. And I just love fucking Mario Kart. This new Mario Kart world is fun as shit. I just love driving around, finding shit, doing little challenges, and it's great. It's good fun. So that's all I got. Soju, how about you?
I also started watching old Squid Game. They had a really big event this weekend with the launch here in Seoul. And yeah, I'm about 2 episodes in, or 2 or 3, something like that. And that really, for me, like, the story, it's just meandering. And really what I think, if they want to continue this on, it's kind of makes me think of Saw now at this point. It's kind of like, well, what kind of traps are they going to do? What kind of little game's going to be? And to be fair, I thought the first game, like the way they set up the rules and then the aesthetics and the look of the first game of this new season 3 was actually pretty clever and worked well enough. So it is what it is. I watched a couple weeks ago, 28 Weeks Later, before we did 28 Years or whatever. That movie kind of sucks.
That's what a lot of people say. I don't remember it really at all.
My memory of it was that I didn't think it was very good, but
it's not.
I was willing to give it a rewatch.
I didn't like it,
especially after Years didn't do it that much for me.
I think Years was probably better, but I mean, it's whatever. It sucks. It's not that good. So really just need to watch 28 Days. It just needs to kind of leave it at that. Yeah. And until we get the sequels, then
Boner Church.
What are they gonna do in this boner temple?
God damn.
Unleash the alpha hog.
God, that super small alpha hog.
We're hunting for dick.
Yes.
True.
I watched Day of the Dead because we weren't sure which way the polls were going to go, really. So I was trying to prepare. And I remember also, too, I think when we covered that on the podcast, it was the first time I had ever seen that. And I don't think I've seen it since. So I was kind of curious to see how I would go. And I don't really like that movie very much. I don't think it's very good. It has some good elements. And, maybe we'll talk about it again in the future, so I won't say too much. But ultimately, I was like, ugh, I don't like this movie. I'm so glad we got to talk about Return of the Living Dead instead. But yeah, Day of the Dead, not that good. Not that good, I think. And I think that's pretty much all I've been watching. Bob, what you been watching?
Some stuff. There's a new season of Somebody Feed Phil that hit Netflix, and we've been slowly working through that. Phil Rosenthal, creator of Everybody Loves Raymond, just travels around the world and goes to different cities and eats food and talks to people and has a great time. And it's super pleasant to watch this sweet older dude just do this. So I really enjoy the show. Definitely recommend checking it out if you like Travel Channel kind of stuff. Really good. I also just blasted through the new season of The Bear. And the third season was maybe a slight step back from the first 2. I still enjoyed it though. I didn't really have mega complaints. And this the start of this season I really enjoyed, and then by the end of it, I was just kind of checked out. I was the repetition maybe about halfway through this season really did start to get to me, and I just got really tired of watching people scream over the top of each other, and I was just checked out. I was I don't care anymore, honestly.
Have you heard of our podcast?
It's not a terrible show, but it kind of started to lose me. If they do make more, one more season and stop it, please. I don't know what they're doing. It feels like they're just kind of treading water a little bit. I mean, there's definitely some arcs happening, but I don't know. It's a little one trick. Yeah.
Season 4, is that where they're I'm losing track of. Is that where they're waiting for the review to come out, or the review?
No,
season 4 is that.
Yeah, okay. Season 4 just dropped last week.
Oh, okay. Well then, no, I have not.
Yeah, it's it's new.
Okay, gotcha.
Great performances. It just feels like they're kind of treading water a little bit. So that's fine. For me, anyways. Also, I watched all of the Jaws movies that I had never seen before. So it's Jaws 3D.
Buddy.
Oh no.
Jaws 4, which is also Jaws the Revenge. And I watched the unofficial sequel called Cruel Jaws or Jaws 5, you know.
Oh, buddy.
So
that's considered an unofficial sequel? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like an Italian knockoff sequel, you know.
Oh,
you know.
Okay. So like
so good.
Jaws seduces somebody or some shit, or like has black gloves and comes up behind them or some shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
I think they do just get worse as they go. Like I watched Jaws 2 last year, I think, for the first time. And it's a little like redundant, but not a bad sequel, I don't think. I enjoyed it for the most part. It's
fine.
Doesn't need to none of these need to exist. Jaws 3D, it tries to do something new. You know, it's like the opening of SeaWorld. But for some reason, SeaWorld is directly connected to the Atlantic Ocean, and a shark somehow gets in and just starts like terrorizing all the people at SeaWorld. And of course,
was good for being bad. Like, it's kind of funny. Is my memory of it.
It's really the exact same thing, because like the owner of SeaWorld's like, we're not gonna close SeaWorld, you know, and then people get eaten and shit. It does like
it's like the easiest thing to avoid. I feel like just
it really is.
Go to the park.
No, SeaWorld must go forward.
It is.
Slowly walk to the park.
The thing, one of the things the movie does, which I truly believe is the genesis of Deep Blue Sea, is it's got like this command center that's like under the water, and it's connected to all these like tunnels and like these like viewing stations that like the patrons can visit and like look at all the ocean life. And there's scenes that happen in the underground stuff, underwater stuff, that is, it's just like in Deep Blue Sea. I was like, damn, like the climax of this movie is like the entirety of Deep Blue Sea, which was like,
what is there a bird bomb? Is there a bird?
You ate my bird. No, I don't think there is. It's enjoyable. Like I definitely didn't hate watching it. It was fine. I wouldn't like highly recommend watching it, but it's fine. And then Jaws 4,
I wouldn't buy it. Oh wait, I did.
Too late.
I wouldn't buy it more than twice.
The 3D stuff in it is like,
unless there's some new artwork coming out. Is there new artwork coming out?
They don't buy it. They don't buy it.
How steel is the book?
I want that plastic book. Steel book only. There's like 3D shit in it that's like extraordinarily dated, but like in a charming kind of way. There's some good stuff happening.
He fucking moves like a submarine. He just doesn't. He doesn't flap his fins. None of that shit happens. He just kind of moves like a fucking.
You clearly
tank.
Don't understand how sharks move in the water.
You're not a shark expert.
This movie. You're right. I didn't have to be.
It's got Dennis Quaid.
Do your research, Randy.
Dennis Quaid is in this one as well, and he plays one of the Brody children. Mike. He plays. He plays Mike, the older.
In 4?
No, I'm still talking about 3.
Damn. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, and in 4 you get back around to the younger Brody kid Sam, and 4 is back on Amity Island, and Sam Brody is now the chief, and this is the opening scene, so I guess spoiler alert if you don't want Jaws 4 The Revenge spoiled for you. He gets eaten immediately, and then the whole family goes on vacation in the Bahamas. So like it's like
something that came out of a nightmare movie.
It's like Christmas time in Amity, and it's like it feels like kind of cool and different. And I was like, oh, I'm like really vibing this like Christmas time in this small seaside town or whatever. And then they just bail, and the entire movie is just in the Bahamas, which is also beautiful. But like I kind of wish it would have just stayed where it was, to be honest with you. And that's got
the premise of
Michael Caine in it, and you can nobody gives a fuck about this movie, and you can tell. Like you can really tell. What are you saying, Randy?
The premise of the movie.
The shark follows them to the Bahamas.
wants revenge. She wants revenge.
The shark they blew up in the first one apparently wants revenge.
Or their family wants revenge. So they find Brody's kids
they somehow
specifically.
Know. Yeah.
And eat them.
They do. Yeah. They're getting
and then
revenge.
follows them to the fucking Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
Tale as old as time, boy.
The prepostery.
Dude. That movie made me want a conch burger so bad, though. They're just...
That's not where I thought that sentence was landing. Okay. What is a conch burger? Like conch? Like conch?
Conch, yeah. Yeah, you ever had, like, fried...
No, I just was not hearing it the way it's spelled, so I just couldn't.
Oh, yeah. C-O-N-C-H.
Yeah, I typically say conch shell, yeah.
I think it's either way, but, like, I just I was not going to commit that.
Yeah, just big old fried patty. It's fucking delicious. I need it. And then Cruel Jaws, which I'll be honest, that shit's unwatchable. I watched it alone and sober, and if you're gonna try and muster through that, have friends and beer around so you can crack jokes. And dude, that shit sucks.
Definitely only worth buying once.
I did not buy. I borrowed that from Mikey. So here's the thing about Cruel Jaws. It's out of print. If you want to buy it on eBay, it's at least $40. If you want to get that thing with the slipcover, it's like $100. It's stupid. That movie,
Cruel Jaws.
I'm glad we're on the same page there, Bob. I am so glad to hear you say those words.
So
the minute Rob crosses that Rubicon is the minute the intervention starts.
Oh, buddy. That's
intervene me, boys.
We tried to do our intervention years ago. Just led to another podcast.
This is your fault. This is all your fault.
Yeah, clearly.
Where did Bob go wrong? Were he and his friends sifting way too long through those Blu-ray bins? And it gets worse, he'll have no jet ski, wasting all his dough on those DVDs.
Certified classic.
Bob didn't take to the medicine, so this is what we're left with.
The blues are my medicine.
Yeah, that's what they say about fucking heroin when they're addicts as well. So Daddy needs his cough syrup.
I don't need a blue pill. I just need my blues. Anyway, that's what I've been watching.
All right.
We've been watching some shit.
We did it.
Jaws mostly.
We don't have any voicemails this week, but if you guys would like to call in and leave a voicemail for next week's show, hit us up at 904-638-3231. Do you guys have any prompts you want to throw out for next week's show?
Fuck no.
We're heading into spooky season. What you doing to prepare for spooky season? I already saw some people buying some decorations on the Slack. I had to tell them to put it away till next week,
Put it away until the 5th.
Evil.
They're already selling Halloween shit at Michael's, and I think probably some other stores too, I'm sure. But I know you can order stuff online at Target. I don't know if they have their shit on the shelves yet. They're rolling that shit out mid-fucking June now. That is silly. Too soon. I want to actually enjoy summer. I've also been seeing people post constantly about Summerween, celebrating Summerween, which, we joke about Halloween starting on July 5th, but just let's fucking enjoy the season of summer, please.
With our generation.
What is
wrong with it?
Just wait. It'll come.
We just live in a la.
Why don't they have any respect for the reason for the season? Satan's birthday.
Right, Randy? Thank you. Let's put Satan back in Halloween.
Let's put Satan back in Halloween. There's a real war on Halloween in this country,
War on Satan.
They're really trying to commercialize Satan's birthday.
I think it's called Christianity.
Why do they hate him so much?
I know. I mean, without him, what do they got?
They must not want to live deliciously. I don't know. It's not for me.
They must hate butter.
They hate butter. They fucking get mouths full of that country crock, though, because they're insane. The butter
what
of
is
Christ.
Happening to us.
That'll show them.
But they'll eat their crackers dry.
So yeah, call in next week with voicemails if you want to do that.
Call in.
Yeah, are you getting ready for Halloween? Are you? I know a lot of people make their own decorations, so like that does make a sort of sense if you're buying stuff and like crafting it at home to get ready. That takes a lot of time.
Sure.
So
sure.
What are you doing to enjoy the summer? Like the proper season. Are you what are you doing? What are you doing? Also,
I mean,
my ass picked so many fucking berries this weekend. What are you doing with your summertime, people?
Dingleberries. Heyo.
Whoa, I went to the beach last week.
Taking it back to shit. Taking it right back to shit, aren't we, Bob?
The beach, nice. Berries, also nice.
Mm-hmm.
Good things.
Bob,
Ooh, the
Bob's
lotus flower. You know what? The lotus
Jaws.
flowers bloom in July, so
Nice.
go see some lotus flowers.
Nice.
I don't know. July. Oh, Bee Fun starts this weekend. You
That's
might
true.
see some special coverage on our
oh yeah.
on our socials.
On
So
our
yeah,
things.
might do some interviews. Not a whole lot is 100% confirmed, except that I'm going. So yeah,
Nice.
check out our Bee Fun coverage, I guess.
Check it out. I would also like to say we're now taking recommendations for punk bands or punk records that you're really into. Throw them our way.
Only punk.
Because we want to party.
Some of us don't like punk, Bob.
Well, you don't have
Viagra
Randy.
Boys,
You don't have to
Bog
listen.
Body.
The
I went to see
Bog.
the taxpayers last night. That shit fucking ruled. So yeah,
Sick.
that's my reco.
Randy,
the
you're so
Taxpayers.
young and like rad.
They're so
It's
hip. I wish I could be
crazy.
hip like you.
buddy. I came home at midnight and I've never been more fucking tired in my entire life. So
Why did
I don't
they
know if I can
start
take that
so
accolade.
late? What's the
I
Can
can't
we
they
start
start
this
at like
thing
a
around
good
like
tidy
4,
6?
3 or 4? You know.
Yeah, sure. I need the blue light special punk show.
Damn. Yeah, call in 904-638-3231. Next week, we're going to be back with a brand new show as always. We're doing something not new, but something we haven't done in 8 years or something. It's just straight up host picks. We're going to introduce some host picks this year.
Oh yeah.
Soju is kicking us off with Twister from 1996.
Good summer watch, I think, heading into the old storm season, boys.
Yeah.
Do your thing, cuz.
Yeah, I'm in control, and I'm picking Twister.
Titty
Not
Twister.
Titty Twister. Yeah, be careful. There's
I'm picking Titty
very
Twister.
popular movie called Titty Twister that's out.
It's very
I'm gonna go with Titty Twister 2, the Nurple Protocol,
yeah.
and it's gonna be great.
Yes.
Some say the sequel is better than the original.
I say that.
Some people say. Some people in this Zoom chat say.
The Nurple Protocol. Check out Twister from 1996. Get ready for next week's show. We're on the social medias. Just search Straight Chilling Podcast. We'll pop right up. If you'd like to join in our daily Slack channel conversations, ask us for that hot link on social media. I'll send it to you so you can join. And until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
It's a statement.